Okay. Green lights. Tis the holiday season. Everybody's shopping a lot. All the shopping centers, like, are full. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, right? At like 4 o'clock, everything shut down. Before that, the stores had some people coming in there for like, wine or something, I don't know. And then 4 o'clock, boom, Whole Foods shut down. There's a few restaurants still open, so I made some money last night. There was a 24-hour McDonald's that did pretty well because everything else was closed. And then, what the fuck was that? I think it might have been an acorn from a tree because it hit the top of my car. I don't know. Anyways, so, today, day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, I guess. It's today Black Friday. Been pretty packed, I would say, like in the, especially shopping areas, and a lot of people walking around. To see a lot of people out jogging, people biking, people getting their steps in. I see that in this area a lot anyways. Like, I'll be like chilling in a parking lot somewhere, and then there'll just be like an old person getting their steps in, or even a young person that just like will just jog across a parking lot, and I do that too. Like, I'll park somewhere and then I'll walk to the location just to like walk a little bit more, like I'm going grocery shopping, or if I know I have time to get there or whatever. So it worked a lot better in Little Rock because there was a lot of instances where I would get assigned like 2 pizza orders from 2 different pizza places, but I could park my car in one location and walk to both restaurants and get the pizzas, and it was more efficient than like having to walk back to my car, drive, repark, and everything. But it was all accessible from the same parking lot. Whereas here, it's like everything is kind of siloed off into these little sectioned off, basically strip mall type areas, and then you'll have just like individual establishments a lot of times. And that is seen in other places like Little Rock or whatever. But I just noticed that like a lot of the stuff was more connected in Little Rock. Like, if I wanted to go to a different shopping mall, a lot of times you can get there by a sidewalk. Here, it's like, if it's not in that little strip that you're at, you're gonna have to get in your car and drive. I think since I've been here, I've gotten like one order where I didn't have to go somewhere else. It was like neighbors, basically, like in the same little area. But typically it's so spread out just based on like how they've designed it. It's not really conducive for pedestrian traffic. There are places that have like bus stops. There are places with better like sidewalks and crossing places and stuff. But for the most part, this stuff is all used for just luxury. Like, you'll see people out here jogging. You'll see people out here in their athletic wear, getting their steps in. Like I was saying before, getting their steps in. It's not so much out of necessity, and it's very car dependent. And I think that might be kind of a way of like, if you can't afford a car, you really can't afford to live in these rural areas like this, and like these suburbia paradises, basically, because like you can't even get out of your neighborhood without a car, and like public transportation would not work in that type of situation. Like I said, there's like a bus stop and stuff, but it's not like you can just get off at a stop and then all these people have access to all these places. It would have to be multiple stops. It would end up making the journey, something you could do in a car in 20 minutes might take 2.5 hours on a bus if the bus is running efficiently. Most of these buses just run around empty anyways. So I think they should be banned in a lot of places. Like, I understand the function of them in other cities and certain areas. Like, this might be a good area for a bus to run through because you have what seems to be the college across the street from the hospital. But when it comes to like I don't know, these other little stops where it's like the people are just being pushed through. People with like mental health problems and that are homeless and stuff. They call it Greyhound therapy. And, I think they should just run the buses more efficiently instead of running them empty across, like something more efficient, it seems like. And I think that Uber is so common. Like, that's how most people get around. It's like they just fork out the money for an Uber. And that's why I do so good at DoorDash, is because, like, it's basically the same thing. It's like you want to go to whatever restaurant, get this food, but you don't have transportation. You don't want to pay the to and fro cost of an Uber to drive you there when you can just pay for it to be delivered directly to you, right? So, I think that's why it's a pretty common service. A lot of people have gotten in the habit of staying at home, and a lot of these people out here, they have that disposable income where spending a little extra money on something like that isn't really a big deal. And I can understand it in a lot of situations where it's like they're having dinner for the whole family delivered. So I can justify that in my own mind as well, because it's like you don't have to cook you don't have to cook dinner for the whole family. Oh my god. There's some more people just biking. Little family, it looks like. Kids home from college or some shit, I don't know. But, yeah. So this neighborhood, I mean, you could not get through this without a car. Like, could you imagine me trying to do my deliveries and, like, the amount of time we've been driving if I was just walking or on a bike, Like, oh my god. This would take so much longer. Trying to get a good view on my camera. It's like at certain angles and certain distances it looks better than others, and the grippy things that hold my phone are going out. They're getting worn down, so they like aren't holding the phone right, and as I drive it like shakes and moves and it changes the angle and the lighting and everything, and I'm just like but I do what I can. I'm doing what I can. I'm driving, I'm driving. So, and I'm still waiting on Rover to get back to me. Well, I mean, I'm on Rover or whatever, but like I'm waiting for clients to request my services. So that's been a waiting game. And then once I get on that, I'll be able to do like dog walking services, and I think that would be pretty fun. And just kind of fill it out for what it is. I'm probably gonna end up raising my prices, but I do want to get some testimonials before I do that. So I'm just like waiting. Eventually, I'm gonna get some testimonials and stuff, and then we'll go from there. I think maybe I need to tweak my profile a little bit, make a better profile picture. And I already like went in and like redid a bunch of stuff because it asks you questions, and so I was answering the question, and then it just put the answers up without the questions, so it just seemed really out of context and like weird stuff. So I went in and changed it to be more like appealing to someone who comes to my profile and reads it. But at that point, 4 people had already viewed it, and since then nobody else has viewed it. So I'm just like, damn, I have to wait until more people want to view it. And so I'm thinking, the second thing I could do would be profile picture, right? Changing my profile picture into something a little bit more appealing. So maybe somebody will like notice it, you know what I mean? Because my current profile picture is decent. It's a picture of me, like like I would do my YouTube videos with the camera facing me and everything. And I think I could change it to one of me that's like up on a mountain and like the background is really beautiful and stuff, and then it just looks nicer. It makes my eyes look good and stuff. So I think I'm gonna try to change it to that one, but I've been having trouble like trying to figure out how to do that because there's not a whole lot of freedom in what you can edit. Like your name, you can't edit your name. Like that doesn't make any sense. But at least those answers I could go in and change, because like I said, I was answering the question, and so when it was like shown without the question, it didn't make any sense. It was out of context, so it made me kind of come off as like a weirdo. And the only 4 people who viewed my profile, like that's what they had seen. Also, it asked me like how many years of experience I have, and I was gonna put none, but then it was like you have to have an answer. How many years of experience do you have? And I put like 5 because I was like, I don't know what other people are saying, and I don't want to be the one that like has 0, you know. So 5 for some reason seems reasonable, and then I got on there and I'm like the only one with that many years of experience, so it might seem kind of sketchy to some people to see somebody so young. And then my pictures are from me when I was in high school, so it's like they're looking at this child and they're like, you have 5 years of experience, like what are you talking about? So I want to like change it up to where it doesn't say that, to where maybe I can get it down to 0 years of experience or something, because I don't want people to feel like I'm lying to them. The reason I said 5 was because like it said I had to answer, and I thought that would be a reasonable number. I thought, saying like, oh, 20 years of experience and I'm 26 years old, that would be a little dramatic. And realistically, I have been training dogs and working with dogs pretty much my entire life. So it's kind of hard for me to like definitively say, okay, this is when my experience starts. And if we say, well, it started when I turned 18, when I became an adult, and I'm 26 now, still 5 years, that's a reasonable number, so, yeah, it just seems like kind of weird when I looked at it. I was like, I want to change that up a little bit, but I don't know if I can or not. I haven't figured out how to edit that part, if it'll let me. And I know, like, so I'm on Rover, and I'm going to also apply for WAG. So I've looked at the videos and stuff, and they explain how it works and everything, and then some people are like, oh, I'm making this much money, it's like crazy amounts of money, and then there's people that's like, this is like actually a more realistic figure, and I'm like, okay, that seems reasonable. So I'm really into that. Like, oh my god, look at these parking lots, they're all full, and like everybody's here Christmas shopping, and there's a lot of pedestrians walking through the different stores and stuff. But yeah, I would like to get back from them, and then once I get my clients and everything, I'll have a place to stay at night too, so that'll take a lot of stress off of me. And eventually I'll raise my prices. I think I've already covered that. I'm very curious to see how much money I can make. I'm also very curious to see like the clients and stuff and see what that's about. I thought I was going to get booked faster, considering it's like the holidays and stuff. You would think people would want pet sitters during this time of year to go like visit their family. So I don't know if maybe this is one of those places where everybody comes here to visit. I mean, considering the houses and stuff, like I really wouldn't be surprised. It's like all of these giant suburban houses owned by like boomers, people who are like grandparents, parents, so like their kids from college, their grandkids that are in college are all like coming back here for the holidays. And that's what somebody had told me when I first got here, was like, it'll be more competitive to get orders on DoorDash because you're going to have the college kids that also work here. And so yeah, I was looking at that and I was like, damn, that's kind of like really annoying because if they're all here, you know, like, why would you need a dog sitter? You know, if the family's traveling in to come see you, you wouldn't need a dog sitter. If you're traveling to see your family, that would be different. But it's like if everybody is coming here, like the flow of traffic seems to be coming this way, you know, that might not be the most prime area to be doing dog sitting service in. So I'll have to consider a different place. You know, I'll have to consider like somewhere that I could do dog sitting that would have people that leave. So maybe if I went closer to like a college place, you know, because like if a college kid has their own apartment that's pet friendly, they might need someone come over and check up on their pet while they're like on Christmas break or whatever, you know, because for college it's like a month. You know, so one thing I've noticed is in this area, there's not. If you've noticed too, you might have noticed this too. There's like a standard of stores, right? Like where we just came from, there was Sephora and all these like designer or like I guess you could even call them fast fashion type clothing stores where everybody was doing their Christmas shopping at, where it was like. Joseph A. Bank and like all those types of stores, you know what I mean? I don't really see a whole lot of Walmarts out here. It's like to get to a Walmart, you have to commute a pretty good ways. Like I think there is like one Walmart in Germantown, but the way it's designed, it's like I don't see too many Dollar Generals, and I don't see too many Walmarts. But what I do see a lot of is McDonald's. Everywhere has a shit ton of McDonald's. No matter how rich, no matter how nice the cars, the houses, the whatever, it's like there's a McDonald's. There's gonna be McDonald's there, and like I'll go into some of these places, and it'll be like morning time, for example. That's when people are dressed up the most. It'll be like morning time, and there'll be someone wearing like a $3,000 suit, and they're ordering McDonald's breakfast. And I'm like behind them in pajama pants and a ripped t-shirt, smelling like piss, there for a fucking DoorDash. And like that's one thing I was thinking about earlier today. Like when you're doing DoorDash, you're gonna be wildly inappropriately dressed for at least one of the places that you go to. Like every day it seems like. So it might be that you dressed up too much, you didn't dress up enough, whatever it might be. You're going to be put in a situation where you're like, damn. Like, and Sundays and holidays are probably the worst about that, because you'll go somewhere and, like, everybody's dressed up for, like, Thanksgiving, you know, and they're doing this, like, banquet type thing in this restaurant, but the restaurant's still doing DoorDashes, and they got people coming in through all the same doors, so it's like everyone sees you coming in with, like, jeans and tennis shoes on, and they're all, like, wearing like, you know, white tie event type stuff, and you're just like, I'm sorry, you know. And then you know, I've also had the opposite where all I was wearing was like khakis and a nice polo and my tennis shoes, and I went into a place and it was just like so casual. Everybody was kind of like looking at me like, what the fuck? That one's more rare. It's usually the opposite way, and like sometimes restaurants will even say like they have certain procedures for DoorDash. You have to go through a certain door, or you have to go through the drive-through, or you have to do whatever, you know. And then some places are just like they don't have that, so you just walk in and you're just like surrounded by all these people in like very nice clothing, and you're wearing your like your typical, you know, workday clothes, like the kind of clothes you would wear into a McDonald's, you know. And it's kind of funny because like sometimes I'll think like, oh, I should like dress up. You know, like I'll go to a Starbucks in the morning and I see people walking in with their suits on and stuff, and they're like sportswear, and I'm like, oh, I could put on some like sweatpants instead of wearing ripped jeans, and that make me fit in a little bit more because a lot of people are wearing like sportswear, and then I do, and then I go to like somewhere else and I'm just like being gawked at. You know, it's like it's so random. It's like so random what they deem as like super out of place and what isn't. Um, but yeah, at least like one place that you go to, you're gonna be like really uncomfortable. Especially if you're pretty casual like I am. As far as they can have that thing on the street.